All right, on this episode of Ask Swenk, we ask, what is my agency really worth? How do you cold call into these big players? And shouldn't you laser focus down to one core service?
I'm Jason Swenk, and I'm answering your questions. And this is Ask Swenk.
Mike asked, how do you go about evaluating the worth of a digital agency? Whether you're looking to invest in one or if yours is being invested in.
Hey Mike, I love the question. And when it comes to evaluating your company, whether to have someone invest in it or for you to invest in one, I really kind of look at a couple things. What's been their growth track for the past couple years? Just so I can kind of understand, are they on an increase, on kind of a decline, or are they just kind of stagnant? And I want to know their growth rate. Also, the other part is what's their profitability? Because at the end of the day, a lot of people just evaluate the agency based on gross revenue, but they may not be profitable. So the more that you have the profitability, the more multiples come into factor. So let's say you are at 20% profitability and 20% growth in the past 3 years, then you might have a multiple of 4 of profit, not of gross, right? And then if your profitability is at 40% and your growth rate's at 40, maybe you have a multiple of 12. I'm going to put a link down below in the or in the show notes, whatever platform you're actually watching this on, to go to an old post of where we did a valuation calculator, or the formula of how we did valuations for our agency and how most agencies do their valuations, as well as just as some kind of formula. So we'll put that link in there, so make sure you go to the show notes or click on the bottom, and we'll take care of you there.
Jocelyn asked, how can you silence the noise and get focused on your main offering? Do you recommend focusing on just web design and let others offer SEO and social media?
So how you can silence the noise is know your market better than they know themselves, and to really have a specialization and not just say what you do. It's about how you can help and the results that you actually deliver. People don't go to you because you can design a website. People don't go to you because you can do SEO. They go to you because you can build a website that's engaging, that can convert more business for them. Or if you're an SEO company, they go to you because you can get them on the top of the search engines where people can find them and they can generate leads. So how to kind of step out of the noise and kind of silence everything is really concentrate on the results and how you can actually help a particular market. That's how you can silence. So back in the day, when we were just a web design shop, okay, we just won business that was local. And even though we had a lot of leads coming in from California and all over, we never won the out-of-state business because we weren't local and they wanted to go with someone local. So their competitive advantage was because they were local. And they were just evaluating other Me Too agencies. Now, in order to separate that, we started specializing. We started becoming the best in the world at that specialization. And then our unique selling proposition was, well, we know Sitefinity or SharePoint better than anybody else, and we can make it look better. So that's why, and then we would focus on the results, right? So we would say, all right, you want to be able to control your website so you can keep the website fresh and engaging and constantly show people the new features and convert more and focus on the results. That's how you stand out. Now, I believe that everybody should have one single core service in the beginning, and you start there and then you build out from that. And as you're building your team or your strategic partnerships, then you're building those practice areas as well. But you got to start really with a narrow focus, and then you can go broader as you grow your team.
Derek asked, how do you approach cold calling a major lead or someone who has never heard of you? I know we can provide value, but it's so hard to get a real person on the phone.
Hey Derek, I'm glad you're focused on outbound and not just inbound, because I truly believe you need to have 3 different channels in order to grow your revenue and grow your business. One is inbound, the other is strategic partnerships, and the other is outbound. So I'm glad you're asking this question. And we did this really well toward the end, right? So everybody kind of thinks about, well, I'll just hire this cold calling company and they'll just pound the phones and they'll just keep calling all these people, and it's the sheer numbers game. Well, you can do that and have a low percentage of people, or you can actually do a really highly detailed research on who you want to target and have a laser focus, right? So let's say I want to call all the hospitality companies out there, right? I did an interview with Del Ross of IHG, International Hotel Group, and it's episode 4. So if you go to jasonswank.com/4, you can listen to this interview. And I asked him the same question. How can a smaller agency get into bed with IHG, which is a big brand? You know, what works? And he basically started off saying what doesn't work. And I totally agree with this. What doesn't work is calling them up saying, hey, we're a web design company, or we're an SEO company, or we're a social media company. We want to talk to you about how you can spend more money in social media. That's not going to work. Or let me take you out to lunch or golf. He gets calls all the day long. He said, what works is if you call me up and say, hey, Dale, you've never heard of me, but I wanted to call and see if you were using the Power Editor in Facebook. It's been really big for a lot of our clients in the hospitality space, and I'd love 10 minutes just to explain to you about this particular tool of how you can leverage it. So you're offering them help. You're doing a couple things. You're educating them on something in their market that they may not know about yet. That's the number one reason why brands, and especially big brands, choose agencies, because of emerging trends. They want to always be ahead of their competition and know what they need to be doing and technology's changing all the time. So if you can call them up and educate them on it, basically they would have like $40,000 or $50,000 of play money to test out. So you could get in there. We did this with Porsche. And we leveraged an old case study that we did with Lotus. So we worked with Lotus Cars. We did a lot of social media research around exotic cars. So after that deal was done and we didn't work with them anymore, we went to Porsche and we said, hey, Porsche, we did a lot of research on exotic cars. And we saw a lot of opportunities where Porsche is being mentioned, but you guys are not leveraging this in your brand. And we'd love to spend 15 minutes with you and show you kind of the results that we found. Man, we got in that all the time. We did that with Home Depot, all these major brands. So do detailed research, come up with a small list, and then come up with an action plan of how you can actually help them. And you'll be surprised at how that does.
Got questions? Go to jasonswank.com/askswank. Thanks for watching. Now make sure you check out the next video.